What's up, and welcome back to the Kevin's Coast to Coast Gambling Show, week 14. We're coming off a great week. I think all of us hit except for Kevin Quinn, I believe.
Whoever picked against me for the Chargers.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, it was Kevin Quinn, because when I asked him what his picks were for this week, he said that he didn't even deserve them. So kind of sad. I did, what was it, Giants, Washington, parlay. And they both won. They both won outright, which is crazy. Didn't see that coming at all against the Steelers and the Seahawks, so that was a hit. Let's see, Kevin Quinn missed on the Chargers, as you mentioned. You hit with the Patriots. Kevin Hatch, Browns and Eagles. I believe, what was it? One of the games just hit, but regardless, still hit. So Kevin Hatch is now 9-2, which is crazy. I'm 4-4, back to 500. Kevin Quinn drops to 6-6, and now you are in the positive at 5-4. So I don't know. Props to all of us, I guess.
Yeah, no, it was a crazy week. I went 12-15 against the spread. So
that's wild.
So I think finally teams are getting a little more predictable. They're finally starting to quit. They're finally starting to get so unhealthy that they're easier to pick against. So I think it's actually helping. Sure.
All right. So I guess we'll just jump into this week's schedule. We got no bye weeks, right? I think it's the first time because of the weird COVID thing. So last week we had
so it was 16 full games this week. Is that what's happening?
I believe so. Let's see. We got 7 at 1, 6 at 4, and then Sunday, Monday night, and then obviously the Thursday night game earlier.
Which is, by the way, the Rams have screwed me all year. I would have. Whoever, if you're listening, don't listen to me as it goes with the Rams. I can't. I'm glad they played on a Thursday that we don't pick usually. I can't pick the Rams this year. So.
Would you bet against them in that game?
After 45-0 win with Belichick, you know what I mean? I know it's a short week, but against the spread, the Patriots probably would have been favored by what was the line? I can't remember, but
I don't know.
If it was +6, I probably would have taken it. You know what I mean?
I'm curious. Yeah, 4.5.
Yeah, close.
Yeah. Patriots 4.5 point favorites too. So crazy. All right. Well, we could jump right into this, I guess. But it's weird to me because the AFC and the NFC, there's only one team. It feels like we're so close to the end of the game, but there's only one team that's technically officially clinched a playoff spot. That's the Chiefs with the AFC, and then the Saints with the NFC. Nobody else has technically clinched that wild card spot yet, as the standings go now. That, by the way, this is before Thursday, so I don't know if maybe that's changed somehow with the Patriots and Rams result, but. That's where we're right now, but we have 7 games at 1 o'clock, so we'll start, I guess, with the Cardinals versus the Giants. The Giants making a little run. Someone's got to win the NFC East. It's right now either them or Washington, not really sure yet. Giants are 3-point underdogs at home against the Cardinals. What do you got? We'll start with you.
Yeah, they sacked Wilson 5 times last week, so I think it's Leonard Williams, the kid out of USC, who went 5th overall to the Jets a couple years ago, and then kind of flat, because everyone, as a Skins fan, everyone wanted Leonard Williams, and I'm trying to remember who I think they took Brendan Sheriff at 5 when they could have had Leonard Williams, and he went one more pick later or something. I want to say that's what happened, but I can't remember. But yeah, he looks incredible. Hopkins is dinged up. He's got a neck and shoulder problems, I think. He got 53 yards. I have him on one of my fantasy teams, so 53 yards last week is trash. But that was against Ramsey and the Rams, so should be better against a pretty. I don't who plays for the Giants secondary right now. I don't even know other than Jabril Peppers, right? He's their standout in the secondary, but
I believe so.
Other than that, I don't know. The Giants get a ton of takeaways, especially with that front seven and the D line. Yeah, I think they're one of the top teams leading in quarterback hits and things like that. So. I don't know. Kyler, if you can hit him, I feel like he has fumbleitis a little bit if you can actually hit him. So he threw a pick last week. He fumbled, 2 turnovers. So I don't know. I feel like they'll pressure him. They'll bottle him up somehow. That middle linebacker that they got, I can't remember the dude's name, but he's a beast. Do you know who I'm talking about? Big goofy white linebacker that they just signed. Martinez, maybe.
I'll look it up. I'm not sure.
He's a monster. So. I got to imagine they'll put some kind of QB spy on Murray and be able to bottle him up a little bit.
From the Packers, Blake Martinez.
Yeah, he moved over from the Packers, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm I'm taking the Cardinals at -1.5 just because I think they're good for at least that. Hopefully, Drake seems to be running a little bit better, and he's back. He's healthy a little bit, but I don't know. I like them at Isabella, and I don't know. Yeah, they're not too banged up, so I'm 1.5 points. I'll take that.
So now, and again, there's not a lot of analytics to back this up, but I feel like I've gone full circle where it's no longer. I feel like people just look at the NFC East and think they're they can't win games or something. I feel like the public perception is skewed in one direction. So Giants as underdogs, I don't know. I feel like the Giants and Washington, and we'll get to this, so it's probably going to be a tease as well. I feel like they're better than people are giving them credit for, so I'm taking the Giants at home as the underdogs. I actually have it at +3 too, so it's even more extreme than the line that you had. But that's what I got. I'll take Giants. Next, my team, Cowboys at Bengals. The return of Andy Dalton fighting against his former home, and I don't know. It's a team of honestly, I think both teams are probably gonna try to lose. You're talking about how at this point of the season, who's gonna basically intentionally quit. I feel like that's what's going on with both these teams. So I don't know what to expect, I guess. It's going to be sloppy and ugly, and there is a storyline with Andy Dalton, I guess. But Cowboys -3, Bengals +3 at home. I mean, I got to go Bengals. I don't know. I don't even without Joe, I think the Cowboys are really, really bad. I really do. So I'm going Bengals +3.
They're both horrible teams. I think I said, a week or two ago that I think the Joe Burrow-less Bengals right now, without Joe Burrow or Joe Mixon, is it Joe Mixon?
Okay. Yeah. Yep.
Without them, I think that's the worst team in the league. That's the worst team. You know what I mean? The Jets are horrible, but they still, if for not.
To be clear, I think the Cowboys and the Bengals are both worse
than the Jets
right now. Yeah.
I mean, Dallas statistically, I think they have a worse run D. I think they're the worst run team.
It's insane.
Stopping the run. I think they're the worst in the league, which is crazy.
It's embarrassing.
I mean, I'm going to take, my line was 3.5. I did this, Wednesday probably? So my line was 3.5 for the Cowboys, -3.5. So I'm going to take that because since he gives up 4.7 yards per carry, I got to believe Zeke is going to do something. I mean, I don't know, earn some of that money, bro. You know what I mean? But the whole Andy Dalton coming back to Cincy, I don't know. I want to believe that you can't go and lose at Cincy. Don't even fly home. Jared might have the plane shot down. You know what I mean? So I just can't.
There is something fun. I agree, and there is something fun about buying into just the revenge game. Not even a revenge game because I don't think there's any real hard feelings with Andy Dalton. But I don't know, man.
They benched him on his birthday and then cut him, right?
That's true. I forgot.
I think there are some hard feelings. I
forgot about his birthday. Yeah. I in my head he just because he became a backup. In my head he just aged out of the role. But yeah, you're right. You're right.
I don't know. I don't think the handling was good. So I could imagine. I think if or not Jamal Adams being pissed off all week or whatever, and him playing the Jets, that's the bigger storyline. People aren't talking about the Bengals and the Cowboys. So. But yeah, there's a bunch of fun revenge games. We got Trent Williams playing the Skins for the first time. We've got Jamal Adams playing the Jets, and there's a lot of good revenge. You know what I mean? It's late in the season, people are hurting, but I like the weird storylines of the revenge games.
Yeah, sure. I mean, as a Cowboys fan, it'll be fun to watch that. I guess I haven't really had a lot of fun watching the Cowboys this year, so it's kind of interesting. It's interesting at least. There's a narrative there. All right, next we got the 4-8 Texans at the 5-7 Bears. I have it as a 2-point line. Bears are 2-point underdogs at home. 3 home underdogs, by the way. I think there's a lot of home underdogs this week. But anyway, so the Bears. I mean, kind of surprising. They started so promising, maybe, right? And then something like that. I know it was but you kind of knew the other shoe was going to fall at some point. And I don't know about this hard, but it did. So the Bears are a huge disappointment. Texans expected to be bad, maybe overachieving a little bit. I don't know. 4-8's not. It's hard to say that's good at all. But Deshaun Watson seems like a great quarterback still. Not a lot of help, losing D-Hop and the whole mess over there. Duke Johnson's been great. So yeah, Texans 2-point favorites actually on the road against the Bears. What do you got?
My line was 1, so I'm gonna go Bears +1. Just because the Texans pass D is ranked 32nd in the league. I think it's horrible. You know what I mean? So. Watson got sacked 5 times last week by Indy. Will Fuller's out on steroids, right? So he's suspended. It's the coldest forecast of the week. I think it's supposed to be below freezing in Chicago for a noon start. You know what I mean? Believe me, I don't like the Bears. I mean, I think they're horrible. Trubisky's horrible. They've got Cordero Patterson playing running back right now, like just trying to get him touches somehow. Like, when was the last? Is Matt Forte the last Bears running back? I can't remember.
Jesus, that name just like took me back 10 years.
That might be right. Though. I can't think of it. Like, has there been a new one?
The last like standout?
Yeah,
I think you might
Dale
be right.
Sayers. I mean,
you remember back in to go back to fantasy too. Like he was like the guy in the league
he
for
just
so long.
kept getting dinged up,
especially in PPR leagues. He gets so many catches.
Yeah.
Damn,
I just remember him running down the sidelines, like very tiptoeing, running down the side. Like that was his signature.
Yep. Yep, for sure. I think you might be right. I can't think of another real standout since then.
I don't know.
Unless we're forgetting someone.
They have 8 tight ends.
I mean, they basically their entire franchise history. They're just relying on how good their defense is, and which works sometimes. It doesn't. But you have like I don't know. I feel like the Bears are confusing. They never really have a power offense ever.
No. Two bad teams.
But yeah, so
it's a I mean, it's a pick 'em to me, and I was like, well, might as well go with the dog at home. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I'll go Texans just because I do feel like Deshaun Watson is finding something with just who he has. I don't know. I mean, it's a mess. Both these teams are terrible. I think the Bears find a way to lose this game.
They will.
So I'll go Texans. Yep. And you basically are just picking the winner. When you're talking about, I have 2 points, you have 1 point, but it's pick 'em. So I'll go Texans. Next we have the Chiefs, one of the only teams to clinch so far. 11-1. They're 7-point favorites against the Dolphins, who are 8-4, and really have a lot to play for as far as postseason berth and all that. So I'll go with the Dolphins only because I feel like it's like they're hungry. They need this win more than the Chiefs do. Obviously, the Chiefs are trying to win every game and put together the best season. They're an incredible team, but I think the Dolphins. I don't know if they beat the Chiefs. I feel like they probably won't. But 7 points is a lot of points, and just because the Dolphins have so much on the line, I think they'll at least keep it close. I don't know. I'll go Dolphins at home +7.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the Chiefs at -7, but it's just because the Chiefs score other way. I mean, they got 15 points from field goals last week, I think. So they can win games. They get points no matter what. You know what I mean? That offense, they're at least gonna get in range. So I don't know. That's why I'm just they had a rough week with the Broncos. I think they're gonna bounce back. Probably get Tyreek Hill. Like I don't know if he had a catch in the first quarter, maybe the second quarter before he started going. But yeah, the Chiefs they suck against the run. Gaskin is back, looks good. Dolphins have a solid D, and they give up chunk plays, which is the whole Mahomes package, right? So if you give up enough chunk plays to Mahomes, you're at least going to get in range probably. And that's why I was like, at 7, I'll take it. I mean, the Chiefs screwed me last weekend with the Broncos because their line was 13.5, and I still took it on the heels of that giant, crazy, was it the Raiders game? What was the game with Tyreek Hill who had 3 touchdowns?
Yeah, I believe it was Raiders. Also, what was the score of? I'll look at it right now. What? I
think it was like a 5 or 6 point win. I'm trying to remember.
Oh, okay.
But they only beat the Broncos. It was 22-16. Yeah, so like, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was one of the ones I missed out on. But at 7, yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah. The Raiders was 2 or 3 weeks ago now.
I think
it was Chiefs, Bucks, Chiefs, Raiders, and they've been eking them out. You know, the Chiefs won 27-24 against the Bucks, 35-31 against the Raiders, 33-31 against the Panthers. Like they killed the Jets, but everyone does. They killed the Broncos. They haven't really won big against halfway decent teams. I think the Dolphins are at least that. So I'm sticking with the Dolphins. But we'll go to the Broncos, I guess, now. So the Broncos 4-8 against the Panthers, again, much to my chagrin. I don't even really care anymore because I'm already in the losers bracket. It doesn't matter for fantasy. Christian McCaffrey quit on my team. It's very upsetting. He clearly does not care about
problems. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, he came out and he's like, "Oh, my shoulder hurts," and they keep like teasing. It's like maybe he's back, and then you'll get an update on like Friday.
His thighs hurt,
his
shoulder, everything. Yeah,
yeah, and also if you're the Panthers, you're 4-8. Like this is a franchise guy, right? So like, why rush him back? So whatever. But I'm very upset with Mr. McCaffrey. But the Broncos 4-point underdogs, pretty close line. Considering all the problems that the Broncos have, I still think Teddy Bridgewater is solid. I'll go Panthers. I'll go Panthers to cover the spread -4.
Yeah, I'm going Broncos just because I like the way they played it in that Chiefs game. The defense is pretty tight. Their secondary is not bad. Melvin Gordon randomly looks good again. I don't understand what I'm watching, but the Panthers are missing DJ Moore and Chris Samuel. They're both on the COVID list. McCaffrey's out. Broncos held Mahomes to 1 touchdown last week, so I just if they can do that against Mahomes, like Teddy, you know what I mean? I don't know. So I was like, let's go ahead and take the Broncos. Let's see.
Sure. All right, we got Kirk Cousins versus Tom Brady. 6-6 Vikings. They're 6.5-point underdogs versus the 7-5 Bucks. Bucks are of course at home, 6.5-point favorites. I guess we'll start with you. What do you got?
Yeah, man, this is one I was kind of going back and forth about because I was like, man, I love that Adam Thielen's back and he looks good. I love Jefferson. They've got Dalvin Cook, obviously. But, man, I don't know. I think the Jags sacked Kirk Cousins 4 times last week, and then that's the Jags defense.
Not good.
Not great. So, how's it going to look at Tampa with JPP coming? You know what I mean? So, they're basically going to shut down. They're the number 1 run-stopping team in the league. They're going to shut down the Dalvin Cook in the run. They're just going to take it away. They're going to force Kirk Cousins to win the game and stand in the pocket, possibly throwing a lot, possibly throwing deep, depending on how Tom Brady, coming off a bye week with his wide receivers, are healthier this week. So
Godwin's back.
So he's got the 3-headed monster. I think Evans is still a little dinged up, but he's like probable to play. He's like likely to play apparently. So
yeah, but there's so much on the line. I bet he'll play.
They're gonna figure out the running back Jones, right? Is it Jones? I keep confusing him with the dude in Green Bay, but I think it's Jones.
Yeah, like Ronald Jones.
Yeah,
Jones Jr.
Yeah. So I think they'll get him back on track. I've got a bad feeling it's just gonna be Ndamukong Suh standing over Kirk Cousins' body and JPP just So that's what I'm envisioning in my mind. So I'm gonna take the Bucks. -6.5 is what my line was. So. Less than a touchdown, yeah. Like I'll take that.
Yeah, 6.5 is what I have as well. I'll go Bucks as well. I feel like there's just more. There's something on the line for the Vikings too. I feel like there's just so much for the Bucks and specifically Tom Brady to prove and healthy. I don't know. They're a little unpredictable. Obviously, they disappear sometimes. But I don't know. I feel like this is a game that Tom Brady excels in.
Has Tom Brady won a night game yet?
It's a good question. That was a big stat because he used to excel in that situation, and lately that's been like his biggest point of struggle.
I wonder if his like TB12 has him up at like 4 a.m. and it's screwing up his like circadian rhythm or something.
Well, he does. He doesn't eat tomatoes.
Yeah,
so
legumes, right? He doesn't need what are they called? Dark. What are tomatoes called? Nightshades or something. I don't know. It's about inflammation, I think.
Like the classification of tomatoes?
Yeah, there's like don't eat nightshades or something.
Yeah, it is. Okay. It's a fruit from the nightshade family.
There you go. Yeah, because
native to South America.
Or something. He doesn't eat them.
Yeah. Not a big tomato guy, to be honest, so I guess I'm also on the TB12 diet.
Don't like pizza?
I love pizza. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You don't like tomato sauce?
No, I do, but I'm just not a huge like tomato. Like if you're gonna give me like a salad, like I could take it or leave it.
Yeah, I don't like grape tomatoes.
Or specifically a sandwich.
No.
Sandwich, I feel like it's just like you might as well just dump a glass of water.
No tomato on burgers. No tomato on a sandwich. That's a standard order.
100% agree. That's what I mean. Yeah, I do love pasta and mozzarella sticks and whatever else.
BLT, no thanks.
Pizza,
no tomato. Hold the tomato.
BLT, I have a lot of strong feelings about this. I feel like a BLT is basically just toppings. Like you're missing. If you want to put bacon, lettuce, tomato on top of like turkey or something else, then
it's horrible.
Then we're talking.
If you go to a restaurant and you get a BLT, then you might move to Scotland and eat a haggis because you're eating just trash that's been.
I don't get it. Yeah, so literally just like, we don't have any deli meat, but like we can throw a bunch of toppings on some bread for you.
It's Depression era food. Shouldn't be eating
it. Government cheese. Yeah. All right, so anyway, finishing out the 1 o'clock games, we have the Titans, 7.5-point favorites, on the road against the Jags. The Jags, by the way, we mentioned the Cowboys and the Bengals maybe being worse than the Jets. The Jags also, I think, are worse than the Jets.
Let's not forget the Jags.
Absolutely horrible. Literally the second worst record in the league right now. So Jags at home, only 7.5-point underdogs, kind of surprising against Titans. I thought it would be worse, and for that reason, I guess I'll go Titans, but now I'm wondering if I'm missing something. Like I feel like the Titans would blow out the Jags, but maybe not. I don't know. But I'll go Titans.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fix is in. I think they're looking around. Gardner Minshew is like begging. He's literally begging. Is it Doug Marrone? Is he still the head coach of Jackson? He's begging him.
I believe so.
He literally went to the office, hat in hand, and started begging for the job back because he's healthy. There's no reason for him to be not playing. He's apparently fine. They yanked him because he was not fine. He was injured or thumb or something, but he's apparently full go, cleared to play, and they're just deciding to go with Mike Glennon. He's throwing the ball better in practice apparently or something. So yeah, I mean, this is clearly we've seen what you can do, and we know what Mike Glennon can do. Let's see what Justin Fields can do. You know what I mean? I think they're just.
It's got to be when you're 1-11. You might as well
let's just hang in there.
Yeah, have some like real life scenario sort of practices, right? Like it's like you might as well mix it up and see what you got moving forward because it doesn't matter if you win.
They threw the 6th round pick kid in Jake Lewin. I can never remember his name, but they threw that kid in. He wasn't good. I have no idea. Okay. He was. I want to say his line was atrocious.
When was this? Last week?
No, I think he got 2 starts. When Minshew originally got pulled out, Jake Lewin, he had 1 good game. And then, but his overall stat line for 3 games, two or 3 starts. Forgive me, I'm not a Jacksonville fan, but like, yeah, it was like 2 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. Yeah, it was horrible. Like, I mean, not an NFL quarterback, but yeah, I mean, for all those reasons, the only good thing is they look like they have a running back. The Bears could use him. James Robinson, he's probably going to reach 1,000 yards in this game. The Jags have a semi-decent defense despite like trading all their players away. They held Cook to like 120 yards last week, but it took them 30 carries to get there. So, Titan secondary needs to rebound, after getting the shit kicked in by the Browns. Week 2, Tannehill went for 240 yards, 4 touchdowns, 33-30 win. A lot of revenge type situations in these the second divisional round, but yeah, Titans -7.
Believe it or not, I have a friend that is a Jags fan, but only because he has family that lives in Jacksonville, and then also he was at a bar there one time, a decade ago, whenever it was. Maybe not a decade, but Blake Bortles ran into him at the bar. My friend ran into Blake Bortles at the bar, and they were talking for a little while, and then Blake Bortles picked up their whole tab. So
okay.
Now he's a Jags fan forever. Yeah,
I can understand.
Jersey and everything.
I would be
He's a Giants fan, but also, I guess, the Jags.
All right. Well, is Blake on a team right now? I know he is. He did a stint with the Rams. Is he a free agent right now? It's hard to imagine in the COVID era.
That might have been what I was thinking of.
My neighbor is signed to a practice squad. You know what I mean? Not
Broncos.
Really, but okay, there you go. I mean, I can't imagine he's not. You know what I mean? They've got guys.
No, it says practice squad, roster status practice squad. So he's on the Broncos, which is crazy. They must have just signed him
living
because
like half the country away or something, right? He's like the oh shit, all the Broncos quarterbacks are down. Blake, we need to fly in.
Yep, we need Blake Bortles. Seems like a nice guy though. Up on my friend's tab, so good for him.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the 4:00 games. We have the Colts versus the Raiders. Colts 8-4, Raiders 7-5. The Colts are 3-point favorites on the road. Again, a lot of home underdogs in this week. We'll start with you. What do you got?
All right, let's see. Colts, liking the Colts. I mean, I don't know. Derek Carr, he didn't look bad against the Jets. He had 380 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. The Colts pass D is still, top 5 in the league. It's going to be a tougher matchup for Waller, I think. So Carr's security blanket of just getting it down to Waller. I don't know. I don't know. I look at Carr's stat line last week when they, the last second Hail Mary, like how many of those yards and that extra touchdown were because of Greg Williams, like begging to be fired for Christmas. You know what I mean? He just wanted to go home. So,
sure.
The all out blitz. But yeah, I mean, I think Rivers is going to have more time in the pocket. The Raiders are terrible. They like the worst in the league with sacks. They've got no one on the other side of is it Mason Crosby or Max Crosby? Mason Crosby is the kicker. It's Max Crosby, right? Yeah. Max with 2 X's.
Mason Crosby is still with the Packers, right?
I don't know. I don't follow the kicking game strongly enough.
I'm pretty sure he is, but I could be wrong. He was like he was the kicker for a while there.
Crosby, man, yeah.
Packers, still the Packers kicker since 2007. Jesus Christ, that's a long run for a kicker.
That's a lot of kicking in the cold. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
There you go.
Impressive.
Yeah.
To stand out in that environment, impressive.
Yeah, I agree.
Shout out to Mason Crosby, I guess. These are two teams I just don't like. There's a chance. I mean, I'm sure it's come up on like Red Zone or something. There's a real good chance that I just have never seen them play this year. Like, I feel like I have zero attention paid to the Colts or the Raiders. But I guess I'll also go Colts. I mean,
the Raiders narrowly escaped the jaws of defeat at the hands of the Jets, and it was only Greg Williams who saved them. You know what I mean? So yeah, right. I mean, I think you're.
I'll just follow you with the Colts, but I have like very not strong feelings about this game at all.
Yeah.
But all right, so let's get to the Jets. The Jets still winless, the only winless team. Really knocking on the door of going completely winless. They're 13.5 point underdogs on the road against the Seahawks. Seahawks, of course, coming off a really embarrassing loss. I would at least qualify it like that against the Giants.
Absolutely.
13.5 point favorites. They're 8-4. Bad loss too because the Rams just. Granted, they already played this week, but they just beat the Patriots, so now they're in first. Seahawks are in second place in the division. Still a very competitive division. I don't really know what to make of the Seahawks. I think the Jets are at least keeping things competitive somehow. I don't think they're as bad as 0-12. I think they're probably as good as like 2-10 or something. I don't think they're good, but I still think the Jets will keep it close enough where I can't, with confidence, take the Seahawks as 13.5 point favorites.
Yeah, no, totally. It's so hard for me to do a 13.5. Like, I've gotten burned
so many points.
I've gotten burned by favorites so much that I just can't do it anymore. But yeah, the Jets. I mean, like I said, I think they're playing competitively. You know what I mean? They're trying. They've got some talent. I like Braxton Berrios is scrapping out there. Frank Gore is like still running out there for like 6 to 7 carries a game randomly. I don't know what's wrong with the Seahawks. They look like. I mean. The Seahawks that I grew up hating, not grew up, but like I've hated the Seahawks, for over a decade easily. You know what I mean? I hate the whole bandwagon Seahawks fan. I hate living in California and seeing the damn Seahawks fans running around. I hate it. I've gone to preseason games where you're sitting in those crowds. I've gone to Chargers preseason games where there's Seahawks fans and they're just the worst. They're just obnoxious. I just don't. I get Pittsburgh, you know what I mean? There's certain cities I can kind of tolerate, Philly or whatever, but like not Seattle, dude. Not Seattle. So, but Russ is getting sacked like at a biblical proportions. I mean, he's just getting murdered. Chris Carson is back, but the Jets have like a top 5 rush D. Is it Quinnen Williams? Do they just parked his fat ass in the middle and just shut it down? Like, I'm not watching enough Jets games, but I assume that's probably contributing. Jamal Adams obviously is going to help. He's good for like a sack. I assume at least. He has 7.5 sacks as a safety. Isn't that kind of crazy?
Yep.
I mean, if you think about
how many safety blitzes do you do in a game?
They must send him like once or twice a game.
And he must be getting a sack almost every single time.
I mean, he must be getting home almost every single time that they're sending him. How often can you send him and not be just burned?
Is that good coaching, or is that just him being a freak athlete? Is that like the perfect time for a safety blitz? Like, what do you think?
I bet when you trade 2 first-round picks or whatever they traded, he might just go. You know what I mean? What are you going to do? Bench him? You know what I mean? He might just be free. What is it called? Freelancing? I mean, just go.
Yeah, I mean that's what I do in Madden. And on the rare occasion I will play Madden as like a defensive player, I will blitz every single time. I'm sure the coach gets mad. I don't care.
Yeah, punt block on first down.
Yeah. Oh, punt block works excellently. Yeah, it's the best. Yeah. You get like 5 guys running from the left side. Yeah, it's the best. All right. Yeah, so I got I can't remember if I get a pick.
I'm going Jets. Jets and all those points, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. It's just it's too big of a line. There's nothing even close to that lopsided throughout the entire week. Falcons 1.5 point favorites. West Coast Kevin Quinn's team. They're 4-8. They're going against the Chargers. Chargers, we talk about this every week. Very confusing to me. Actually, this might be the 2 most confusing teams in the NFL. I feel like they should be better. I don't know why they're so bad. I'm just thrown by this whole thing. But Chargers 1.5 point underdogs at home. Basically a pick'em game. We'll start with you. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna take Chargers plus 1.5 is what I have, and I mean Herbert has looked horrible since Austin Eckler came back from injury. Like it disrupted the whole offense. So maybe they're gonna figure it out. Anthony Lynn, like he's got to figure it out, or he's just apparently he's like not super on the hot seat is what the local chatter is here. But dude, I mean, because they've been so snake bitten with injuries, and they're losing these horrible, like weird last minute, field goal here or there. Special teams have been horrible. The special teams for the Chargers, he already fired the special teams coordinator, and then he replaced him with another guy, and then it was so bad last week still that he was like, I might just take it over. I might be like the full-time special teams coach now. It's that bad. Michael Badgley is missing field goals like crazy. Looks horrible. So I can't imagine he's long for this world. Julio Jones is out. Atlanta's D could be good for a Herbert rebound. But they scored 0 points against the Patriots. Like, that's terrible. So I don't know. I think Herbert has one solid game with the haircut, but like since he got the hair, it's horrible. It's his game has gone way down.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think honestly, getting shut out in an NFL game.
And I
think it messes with you for a while. Yeah, and granted, times are different. Like, it's not in front of a stadium. Although I assume the stadium would be pretty empty.
You can't blame
game.
weather. You know what I mean? Like, you can't blame. Like, sure. I mean, atrocious.
I just feel like that just, I don't know, ruins you, I guess. I just can't imagine. I don't know.
It's got to ruin a locker room. You can't possibly, like, the locker room can't be feeling great.
And I think we talked. So Dan Quinn, after he got fired, they, the Falcons, I don't know if we picked them to win or cover the spread or whatever, but the Falcons against the Saints. Saints are an incredible team, and the Falcons played them tough. It was a close game. So I feel like if you're just talking just trends and momentum, I feel like the Falcons are trending towards something of value at least, and the Chargers have just be broken. So I'll go Falcons -1.5.
Yeah, I would have gone Falcons if Julio Jones was just a body. If they literally were just going to dress him and put him out there, just stand on this line.
Just to take away like a top corner or something.
Because when they have Gurley, Ridley, and Jones, they're great. But when one or two or three of them are missing, like, they don't have anything. So, yeah.
Sure. Getting to the Saints now, I guess that the only team from the NFC to clinch as of now, unless I'm misreading this, I'm pretty sure that's the case, but whatever. It's a statistical anomaly. You kind of already know who's going to make the playoffs, but statistically, the Saints are already in. They're 10-2. They're 7-point favorites on the road against the lowly Eagles, 3-8-1. Carson Wentz is terrible. He's out. Eagles 7-point home underdogs. I'm going Saints, I guess. I don't know. I just love watching the demise of the Eagles, so I hope it continues, I guess. So I'm going Saints.
Yeah, we're basically the Predator meme, you know what I mean? Where we're like greeting each other as like hatred over, the battery throwing Philly fans, you know what I mean? So
Yep.
Yeah.
They threw love batteries this holiday season. They threw batteries at Santa.
Think about that.
All right, can we? Yeah, awful human beings. So yeah, let's go Saints.
I've lived in New York. I've lived in DC. I've never lived in Philly. I don't think I could do it. But yeah, Jalen Hurts is still. I don't know what people are excited about. He got sacked 3 times, threw 1 pick, and threw 1 touchdown. He had 1 nice throw.
Oh yeah,
and everyone's like anointed him as like, oh, here we go. But he got sacked 3 times. He doesn't look that great.
Well, that's Philly. That's what people say about Carson Wentz, even though he didn't even win you a Super Bowl. And then, you chase Nick Foles out of town, and people are still like talking about like, oh, Carson, not anymore, but like right until his demise, people are talking about Carson Wentz like he is the greatest quarterback of all time. It's just Philly being Philly.
Well, there you go. That draft looks like you got Goff at 1, and then you got Wentz at 2. Like, oof, God, that looks.
I'm telling you, listen. I know he just got hurt, but Dak Prescott coming out looking real shiny. Just saying, he's been great.
There you go. He might be the best of the bunch.
Outside of injury, yeah, 4th round pick. Yep.
Yeah, I'm not going to bet against the Saints here. Mine was 6.5, so at 7, I'm still cool with it. Yeah, Michael Thomas is, back, 9 receptions, 105 yards. Eagles can't stop.
I feel like that changed too. Like that half point, all you're really doing is now you're playing with, whether it's going to be a push potentially if they win by exactly 7. Like it's basically the same line.
Yeah. So there's nothing that scares me. You know what I mean? The Eagles can't stop the run. You've got Hill. You've got Kamara. You've got, Michael Thomas to send out there. And then the dude from Denver that I can never remember his name, who went to the 49ers for a season. You remember him?
Yeah, shit.
Trying to remember the wide receiver's name. I can't.
I don't know. I'll figure it out.
I remember listening to
in our margin here.
He did like jewelry commercials. When I lived in Denver, he was doing local like diamond shop commercials on the radio. but I cannot remember his name.
That's cool. Do you have? I have a question actually. Is Good Old Tom local, or do you have that? I can't.
Good Old
have you ever heard of
Tom.
a Good Old Tom commercial? It sounds like no.
No, I don't think so.
Good Old Tom. All right. Anyway, that's a local jewelry commercial. Just wondering. Let's see. I don't know who you're thinking of.
Who's the
Emmanuel
wide receiver?
Sanders
Yeah, there
was
you go.
Pittsburgh.
Emmanuel Sanders. Yeah, that's him.
Oh, it's, all right. Yeah. Anyway, Good Old Tom commercials are great. I'll send you one. So, where were we? Let's see. Oh, I took the Saints. All right, so Washington 5-7 against 49ers, also 5-7. Washington 3-point underdogs. Again, I kind of teased it before. I'll double down now. I'm same exact bet as last week. I'm doing Washington Giants tease for my lock, and I'll repeat it later too. But I just don't. I feel like people are still. They just see NFC East and they're like, oh, these guys are terrible. And I feel like the Giants and Washington just aren't as bad as people say. So I don't. It's a tougher pick to pick the 3-point line. I'm not sure. I feel like the 49ers might pull it off, although I don't know. I think Kingsbury's kind of a shitty coach. I'll go 49ers here, -3, but I think the Washington football team will keep it close enough to at least give me my tease. But I don't know. We're threading the needle here, but I'll go 49ers -3 at home.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of hatred with Kyle Shanahan, former coach, dad, worked on his daddy's staff, fired unceremoniously with the whole RG3 debacle. A lot of hatred there, you know what I mean? So I think last year they gave Mike Shanahan the game ball when the 49ers came to FedEx Field, beat the shit out of the Skins in the Mud Bowl, and then they gave the game ball to Mike Shanahan for all his troubles with Dan Snyder and the like. So there's a lot of good hatred there. A lot of, got Jordan Reed, former Redskin, is on the 49ers. I think he's got to be their starting tight end right now. You got Trent Williams, all pro, everything. The Gorilla Silverback was his name, like much beloved left tackle, the pillar of the offensive line for the last 10 years. And just get me the F out of this horrible place. They didn't catch my cancer screening. He's pissed. They could have killed him. So he's got a lot to play for, obviously. And then, but yeah, can we talk? Let's take a second and can we gloat over the win? Did you watch? I mean, I'm so happy that game was the only one on, nationally televised. It was just glorious. You know what I mean? It was glorious.
Yeah, congratulations. I mean, listen, the season's a bust, but to be the team that knocks off the undefeated team,
the
so
72
close to the finish
Dolphins
line
are on
too.
TikTok shouting out the Skins. You know what I mean? Like, that's a great
Right,
feeling.
right.
You love to see it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, gloat. Go ahead. Gloat away.
I'm just saying, imagine a man with one leg, you know what I mean, who's just out there with J.J. Watt trying to get after him, and he somehow wins. Your star rookie running back who had 3 touchdowns against Dallas on Thanksgiving, he goes out after the second play with turf toe. You know what I mean?
That was another good moment for you too, by the way. I just realized. The season's horrible, but blowing out the Cowboys on Thanksgiving must also feel good. Not as good as this, but you've had some shining moments this season.
If I could have 2 wins a year, it'd be the boys. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So, but this one
or an undefeated Steelers.
Absolutely. I was right. Well, I mean, listen, I've been well documented as I'm in tankathon mode, but then the Thanksgiving game happens, and then they're on a little streak here. They're on a little run. I think they've won 3 in a row. Barely lost to the Lions somehow the week before.
Once you're this close, you might as well try to make the playoffs, right?
That's what sucks. I don't know. It's now you're picking 19th. You know what I mean? We're fighting with the Giants the right to pick 19th.
Yeah, so who cares at that point? Because that's how I felt. Yeah, right. So the Cowboys, what was the game? Oh, when we beat the Vikings, I was like, all right, let's go for this thing. And then we just got embarrassed by you guys and the Ravens. And it's like, all right, let's tank. I don't know.
No,
it's confusing.
I love Alex Smith, but my God, my dude every time they force him to drop back, I'm like, ugh. You know what I mean? So I don't know how, and people are saying, for sure he's going to be the starter next year. For sure. And I just can't imagine. I just can't. That's what I'm seeing.
Yeah,
the rumbles in the building.
You're probably right, but that's weird
he's due to make at least 21 to 23 million next year. You know what I mean? He's on the books for the next couple of years. So I don't know if they think they're gonna. I'm watching Mac Jones here on TV. You know what I mean? Let's maybe think about that. You know what I mean? Let's go in some sort of direction. But anyway, I'm taking the Skins with the points at 3.5. I have it 3.5. I think they'll at least cover. I don't know if they're, I'm not outright picking them to win. I think it's a close game. I think Mullins is going to get murdered. I think Chase Young is going to, plant his helmet squarely in the chest of Chase Young or of Nick Mullins. He's not going to have the tight end threat of having Kittle there for him. He's going to have to make best with Eric Lindros of the NFL, Jordan Reed, 18 concussion, Jordan Reed or whatever he is at. Him and Montez Sweat and even Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen might get down on it. Maybe a Ryan Kerrigan sack. I just haven't seen a lot of escapability from Nick Mullins. So, yeah, I'm taking the Skins plus the points.
All right, well, I'm rooting for you because I'm going to do that for my lock. Yeah. But final game of the 4 o'clock schedule, rivalry again, I guess. I can't remember the last time these two teams have been in the same realm of success. But Packers, 9-3. They're 7.5-point favorites on the road against the Lions. 5-7. Start with you, I guess. What do you got?
I mean, it's hard. I mean, this might be one of the more lopsided games. I mean, it's got to be. It's one of the most lopsided games of the week. I'm surprised by the line.
You thought it'd be steeper.
I mean, I thought it'd be 10 at least.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're putting Lazard is on a pitch count, and they're they're just in an embarrassment of riches. You know what I mean? With Scalding and Devontae Adams and Tanyan, the running back, Rodgers, Aaron Jones, went for 170 yards in week 2 when they played. Jones, he went for 130 yards last week, so he's kind of heating up again.
Could that be part of why the line is where it is? Because it is, I mean, it's a pretty easy win for them, and they also basically have their division locked up. Not officially, not statistically, but could that be part of it?
I mean, totally, yeah. Where they think, what's the kid?
Like they might not blow them out. They might take their foot off the gas.
What's the kid's name that they drafted? Get him in a little action, maybe.
Oh, the quarterback.
Yeah, 2 minutes into the third quarter.
Hurts? No, who
Young
is it?
Not Bryce Young. That's the kid at Alabama. Bruce Love, Brian. I don't know.
I remember him getting
Utah
drafted.
State,
I remember being.
Right? I mean, I don't watch those games.
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't watch college. Period. But if I'm randomly flipping on a college game, it's not Utah State.
I mean, I had to watch Arizona State last night.
Jordan Love.
There you go.
Yeah.
I mean, So, but I mean, Packers got to Carson Wentz. The combination of, I mean, they had 7 sacks last week. 2 different guys.
That division is so shitty. We will at some point see Jordan Love play like a full game. I feel like towards the end of the year because they're not going to need to. Yeah, and also I'll never forget. I had Aaron Rodgers years ago on fantasy, and it was week 16. It wasn't 17, which you rarely see someone benching, and they benched him for the fourth quarter. Ruined my fantasy season. Yep.
Because that was a playoff
I already
game,
don't
right?
like. Yeah, it was a championship game. Yeah, and they benched him for the fourth. Oh, I'll never. Anyway, very upset.
That sucks. Yeah.
The reason the championship game is on week 16 is because theoretically every team is still playing all their full squad. So I'm very upset about it. Anyway, I already hate Aaron Rodgers. I feel like there's not a single team that but even in the NFC East, that the Cowboys about a head's worth more than the Packers because they just continuously knocked us out of the playoffs. So I hate him anyway. Very talented. That's probably why I hate him. But that specific moment killed me. So. Anyway, we're talking so long ago. By the way, I think it was like 8.
I mean,
8 years ago.
I hold long-time grudges. Yeah, I'm all for it.
Yep, I might have a grudge against Christian McCaffrey. We'll see.
Yeah,
he played good in the 3 weeks he played this year.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm going Packers. Yep. On to Sunday night, Steelers versus the Bills. Steelers, of course, coming off their first loss. They are 11-1. The Bills 9-3. The Bills are the favorite, which is surprising just because, 5 minutes ago, the Steelers were undefeated, and people were talking about whether they're going to win 17 in a row. The fact that now odds makers have Bills as the team that's most likely to win this game is kind of jarring in itself, and I kind of agree with it. I think there is this weird letdown. It can go 2 ways, I guess. They were undefeated. Now they have a loss, right? So you could look at that as, all right, now the pressure's off so they can play fast and loose again. There's also this weird sort of letdowns, all right, now there's not this pressure to, go 16-0. Maybe they take their foot off the gas a little bit, and the Bills are obviously a very game opponent. So I I'm going Bills, I think. I don't feel great about this. I really think this is actually one of the toughest games to pick on the entire slate, but I'm going Bills -2 at home.
Okay. Yeah, I kind of feel the same way, where you don't know how they're going to bounce back and react. I think I was listening to someone explain, it was a former player, and he was talking about how that, when you're every team has their problems, every team is flawed, there's nothing, no one's perfect, and when you're on a stretch like that, where you're going 11-0, 10-0, whatever, that you ignore some of those problems and issues, and they linger, they don't get fixed, they don't get addressed correctly, and then once you lose, you can finally kind of like, okay, let's go back and look at, you know what I mean? We what's wrong? Where are the deficiencies? And let's fix them. Let's take care of them. Whereas before, they were just kind of getting glossed over, walk through, all that kind of stuff. So there's some thinking on my part. I think that they're finally going to have something that kind of, Tomlin is obviously, I think he tried to do it after the Ravens, when he was like, we sucked, we were horrible. And that didn't really do it, you know what I mean? But if you look at the matchup with the Skins, James Conner was out. Roethlisberger threw the ball 53 times, which is like 5 to 6 to 7 to 8 more passes than he's been all over the place this year, like throwing the ball. But that's a lot of throws. Didn't have a quarterback. He had Montez Sweat batting shit down, you know what I mean? So, Juju Smith-Schuster just disappeared off the face of the world. You know what I mean? I don't know where he is. But, I got to believe that they're going to cover. You know what I mean? So that's I'm taking the Steelers with the points. Mine was 2.5. So, yeah, I think they'll at least cover. But I do like Buffalo. I think Diggs looks great.
Yeah, no, I agree. Actually, I'm kind of rooting just because, I'm in New England, and there's been such a dominance of the Patriots. It'd be nice if another AFC East team won the Super Bowl. So I'm kind of rooting for the Bills.
Oh, I'd love it.
Yeah. I kind of want them to win it all. So I'm rooting for them anyway. But all right, and then Monday night we have the Ravens and the Browns rivalry game, and unlike the Packers versus the Lions, it's actually like a really important game for both teams, because the Browns are 9-3, but it's not guaranteed. The Browns are actually in a really weird position, because it's not guaranteed they're going to make a wild card, because there's a lot of 8-4 teams. If they start to slip these last 4 games of the season, they can get past and might even miss the playoffs. But because of the Steelers lost now they're only 2 games out of winning the division still. Which, can you imagine that? Imagine if the Steelers were 11-0 and didn't even win their division, but that's technically, statistically at least, a possibility. So, interesting game for them. The Ravens outside looking in, but very much within striking distance of getting a wild card and getting a playoff spot. So it's a fascinating game. Obviously, both teams coming off big wins. The Browns, who did they just beat? It's someone huge, right? Oh, Titans.
Yeah.
So the Browns just beat the Titans. And it's 41-35. I remember watching that game. It was actually a lot more lopsided than that. Titans kind of made a run at the end, but the Browns dominated the Titans, which is pretty surprising.
Got up by a lot pretty quick. Yeah, it was like, at one point, it was 40-something to like 14 or something, right? Like, I'm trying to remember, but...
Something, yeah. It was something crazy. So, like, the Browns... I think it was kind of their announcement, like, hey, this is not a fluke. We're the real deal. It's late in the season, and we can dominate the Titans, who I think are a really good all-around team. So, go for the Browns. And then the Ravens, I can speak personally, destroyed the Cowboys. Not that impressive to me. The Cowboys are just horrible. But the Ravens are a team that, obviously, people think they should be so good. And I feel like they have so many holes in there. Like, even Lamar Jackson, he can't really throw it. Like, I feel like people are waiting for him to get good at that. And his scrambling is unbelievable. Not that that's impressive against Cowboys again, but just in general, like, he is good at that. But when you force him to throw, he's horrible. I don't know, man. I don't know how I feel about the Ravens. I guess I'll go the Browns, because I feel like there must be such... I can't imagine what that locker room looks like right now with people... I mean, they've been so bad for so long to have them actually be not only competitive, but potentially, this is a team that can make a deep run in the playoffs as well. I'm going Browns just because of the motivation, I guess. Yeah,
I'm going to take the Browns. I think they're trending up, where the Ravens kind of are in this weird
2.5 point spread. By the way, I don't know if I ever actually said
mine.
That. The Browns 2.5 points underdogs.
Yeah, that's mine was 1.5, and I took it. But 2.5 sounds even better, right? So, right. The week 1 game was pretty lopsided for the Ravens, so it was 38-6. So maybe that's why the line is kind of where it is. But it's they look like a completely different team right now. Like, you know what I mean? Just going in two different directions. The two top rushing teams in the league, I think. So, I love Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt, and then that is going up against everything that Lamar Jackson has, plus Dobbins is back, plus Mark Ingram is back, and then Gus Edwards is back. Or Gus Edwards, I don't think ever left. He's been like the one mainstay, I think, right?
He had COVID, right?
They all had it or something, but it was like on a merry-go-round of Wheel of Fortune or musical chairs or whatever you want to call it. But I mean, Baker, he threw for 4 touchdowns, 334 yards on like a not bad Titans defense. Lamar, but the Browns also gave up like 390 yards and 3 touchdowns last week. So maybe Lamar can actually throw on them a little bit better. Because if both teams just say like, hey, we're going to take away the run game. Like everyone wants to run. We're just going to shut it down. Or someone's going to be able to push through and shut it down. So, it's just going to be interesting to see who can dictate better with the run. But I like Cleveland with points at home on a Monday night game in Cleveland. They got to be hyped, even if they're not fans in the stadiums.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. So, getting to the Kevins now, Kevin Quinn had the Bills and the Browns for his primetime games, and then Kevin Hatch had Steelers and Ravens. So the exact opposite. And I also have Bills and Browns. Who'd you have for that first game again?
For the Steelers, yeah, I'm taking Steelers in the points.
Okay, so let's split there as well. So I have the Kevin's locks. I have my lock. Well, I'll just start with mine. I guess I already said it like 4 times today, but I'll go Giants and Washington, both as a tease. So, +3, so they're both going to be +9. I think that's just way too many points. I actually think they might win those games. By the very least, I think they'll keep it close enough to win that. Cover the 9-point spread. Mm-hmm. So I'm going Giants and Washington as my tease. What do you got?
I'm going to go a tease myself. I'm going to go Cowboys and Packers.
Okay.
So one I'm very confident
good
with,
luck.
and then one a little bit. I could have gone Saints and Packers, but like, man, let's add a little intrigue to it. So I'm going to take the Cowboys.
Yeah. Also, I appreciate it because I took the Skins. So
there you go.
A little,
sharing is caring.
You can reach across the aisle.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
you got Cowboys, Packers. I took Giants, Washington. Kevin Hatch, aka East Coast Kevin, he is taking. Let's see, 2-team tees, Steelers and Bucks. So let's see what that is. So Steelers +2, that would give them they'd be +8, and the Bucks. Where are they? Let's see. Oh, -6.5. So they're basically, there'd be -0.5 point. So basically, pick them for the Bucks, and the Steelers would be +8. Pretty good for an 11-1 team. So I don't hate that. And then West Coast Kevin Quinn. Cleveland and Saints are his locks. So Saints -7. Is that what I had? Yeah, Saints -7. Wait, hold on. Oh no, sorry, that's his lock. No tease. So Saints -7 is his lock. He thinks that the Saints are going to win by more than 7. Kevin's struggling, by the way. Kevin Quinn, Kevin Hatch, unbelievable. It's unbelievable. He's 9-2 now on locks. That's insane.
Get the man to Vegas.
I'm actually upset. Like I feel like I should be like placing all his bets. I'm not doing that, but like I'd be rich.
Well, there you go. I mean, yeah, if you'd followed my 1 week, I'd be rich, and then just keep an eye out for. Is it East Coast Kev or West Coast Kev that's killing it?
East Coast.
Okay.
East Coast Kev's killing it.
Keep an eye on East Coast Kev.
9-2. West Coast Kev, you're basically just, you might as well like put like $20 in like a drawer.
Is he the Falcons fan? I confused them, but he's the Falcons fan. Okay,
yeah. He's the Falcons fan. West Coast Kev's the Falcons fan. East Coast Kev's the Steelers fan.
Got it. Okay.
Yep. So anyway, that's where we're at. I guess that's it.
Until next week. We've only got, I guess we'll probably do it through the playoffs and everything. But
by the way, because so I did an interview for a different podcast, and I interviewed Hartford Current guy, and I got these lines. They were still via Bovado, but I literally got the lines I was reading off of a newspaper. So
like an old man, like an old
1980s
gambler,
right? Yeah,
those lines don't shift. You know what I mean? They're in print.
Yeah, old panhandler. Yep. So that's where I'm at. All right, I guess that's it. Peace, guys.